Hi, great afternoon, and great afternoon to you, Miss Leila. My name is Eunice Ravne Dulabi, and we are here with another podcast session with our focus on reflection, growth, and wisdom. And I'm here with Miss Leila Paintsil of the Bank of Africa. Great afternoon again, Miss Leila.
Hi, Ra. It's
Good to
nice to
have
be
you
here.
here.
It's
Nice to
nice to
meet
be
you
here.
too. Nice to
Yeah,
meet you too.
yeah.
Well, we're going to go straight into it. I'm so excited about this session. And the first thing I'd like to find out is, who is Leila Paintsil? Can you share about yourself
Well,
and your career journey?
sure. So, my name is Leila Paintsil. I'm currently head of marketing and corporate communications at
Okay.
Bank of Africa.
Okay.
And my career journey has been interesting. I've worked across industries. I started my work experience at in the hospitality industry with
Okay.
CCAPS Hotel back in the
Okay.
day.
Wow.
Yeah,
C-cups.
CCAPS,
Remember
yes,
that?
CCAPS Hotel. So that was in sometime in 1998.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I've worked through different levels of financial institutions. I've worked with investment banking, so I used to work with IC Securities as a client service person. Then I worked with savings and loans before.
Okay.
Then I came into commercial banking, worked with Republic Bank, and I'm
Okay.
currently with Bank of Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, so that has been my official career journey.
Okay.
But of
Wow.
course, there have been pitfalls. Maybe a few months here and there. Experience in telecoms.
Okay.
Had a bit brief career with telecoms, and so basically that has been where I started and where
Wow.
I am currently.
Wow, 1998. I was 10 years old then.
Tell me about it.
I was
Now
10
you're making me
years
feel
old
like
then.
I'm that old.
No.
Count
Well,
the experience, not the age.
seriously. Wow, that's incredible. Have you always wanted to be in that career? Is that what you dreamt of being, or was it by chance, or was it by recommendation? How did you land in that career in marketing, sales, and banking?
No, it wasn't accidental. It was
Okay.
intentional, actually.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be doing something with communication.
Okay.
Way back in primary school, I used to actually write my for my team or for my class. I used to write drama
Okay.
series that we would perform at the end of the term.
Wow,
And the teachers were
incredible.
amazed at how I could write. And so it's always been my inspiration, like just to write and speak and meet people. These three things have been what have always driven me. And when I was going to do my first degree, I did BSc admin in marketing.
Okay.
And I excelled. I realized that it was amazing. It came to me naturally. So when I
Wow.
was going to do my masters again, I did masters in marketing strategy.
Wow.
Because I always say that when you discover what comes to you naturally, it is what you should nurture.
Okay.
You shouldn't go chasing what someone thinks is the trend, because
I like
what's
that.
innate would always make you excel. So yes, it's always been my dream to be in the marketing and corporate communications space, and media as well. I mean, people who know me would know that I used to do stuff for Joy FM,
Okay.
and I'm affiliated to the multimedia group because
Okay.
of the loyalty that I have for a brand like that. Because throughout my career journey and even my academic journey, Joy FM or multimedia, that platform has been a plug for me to admire and look at the growth of people, the casts, the newscasts team, and then the entire production of marketing and communication within that space. And that is what has propelled my career or my desire, passion in that field. And I'm grateful to them for also the opportunities that they've also given me to even sit on radio and practice, my skills in communications.
Wow.
So it was deliberate, it was well thought through.
I like that. And talking about how deliberate you were, looking at our key focus, which includes growth, how would you say that growth journey has been? What would be some of your I would say, undeniable facts on your growth, starting way back from, I go back to the 1998 all the way till now. I mean, we're in 2026 now. That's a whole lot of years of experience. And how will you quantify that, or how will you describe that growth you've had throughout that journey, looking at even the different opportunities, like you were saying, in media and other ways that you've been put on that scene to show what you're made of in that area of marketing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been growth that was steady.
Okay.
And then at a point, it just peaked.
Okay.
Because in my career journey, I've not always had the opportunity to do the things that I've wanted to do. I'll give you an example, because you mentioned CCAPS, where I started. So when I was at CCAPS, or CCAPS Travel at the time, I had just finished Accra High School.
Okay.
Like, just finished SHS. Okay. And while I was waiting to write my exams, while I was waiting to get my results, I took the opportunity to go to the Computer Institute. At the time, one Computer Institute. So when I was working at CCAPS Hotel, it just turned out that the secretary to the executive director, sort of his PA at the time, traveled outside to the USA and didn't come back. Oh, wow. You know, those were the days where people actually travel and not they get missing. So in the entire setup, I was the only one who could at the time work with computers, type in Word, and do stuff that was just, evolving. So automatically I became the secretary to the executive director at the age of 19.
That's incredible.
Yes, at the age of 19. And this was the executive director for the CCAPS group at the time. And so that, for me, was the first part of my growth, because I had to immerse myself in that role and perform, and of course, I started with, I struggled a bit, but he was very, very helpful, took me through that. So that's one of the things that you would say was like that spike of growth. When I came into commercial banking, I didn't get the opportunity to go straight up into marketing and corporate communications, because when you come to banking, that department is about the least number of people. They never resign. They don't go anywhere. They are there. So you enter through being a relationship officer or a salesperson or a client relationship manager. And that's how I started. I started as an RO, or relationship officer, like we say. And within a very short time, a vacancy was created, or in fact a new department was created in the what do we call electronic payments department. And I went for an interview. I was successful, so I was rolled in as sales for merchants and electronic payment department. And this was at the head office. At the time, I was an RO at Ashaiman branch. Now I have moved to the head office. So at the head office, I would typically go to the marketing and corps department and tell the head of department that, but you see this message you sent, you could have done it this way, or you could have, this is my idea of how you could have gone about it and all that. And I think she was quite impressed. So when there was vacancy for a communications manager, she single-handedly recommended me to management. And I took up the role as communications manager. So that was my first opportunity to actually be in that space as a comms person or as a marketing person. But then I had prepared myself. You're talking about growth. And one thing you need to know, or one thing I always say about growth, is you must prepare yourself for the opportunities that would come. While I was doing the RO business, or the RO role and all that, I was still practicing my marketing career. I went to the CIMG, became a member of CIMG, very active member of the CIMG. I made sure that my impact was felt within the CIMG fellowship. So there were people who knew me as a marketing person, but I wasn't practicing it in my role at the bank. So when I became communications manager, it was just, like a bloom.
Wow.
He just bloomed. And I held that role at Republic Bank for, I think, 3 years and a little bit. And then this opportunity at Bank of Africa came a year ago, and I've been on the role for exactly 1 year now. So growth, yes, prepare for the growth, be intentional about growth. For my story, it's been one that you would say it wasn't growth throughout in the direction that you would want, but it was purposeful. I had what's that called? I had a dream. I knew the end game, but I was making my way there through other channels. An opportunity presented itself, and I was ready for it. Yeah.
That's incredible. I love what I'm hearing. First of all, you spoken about how, go with what you are naturally built with.
Right.
It's not rocket science. Just follow that. And I love what you said about the intentionality.
Right.
And also the preparation. I love what you said. We may not be in the place where we were to be up front, but then in the meantime, in the background, we could still be making waves and preparing.
Absolutely.
And when that opportunity opens for us, it's the preparation we've done all along that plunges us in.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm really loving this. Thank you so much, Ms. Leila. Thank you so much. So next thing I'd like to find out is what led you to Memfit Foundation?
So Memfit Foundation, Dr. Anda reached out, wanted to seek sponsorship with the bank, and I honestly I didn't take my time to read the proposal, but she kept following up and said, okay, let me look at this and then I'll get back. So I took a good read of the proposal, and then I invited her over to come and explain. Sometimes you might assume things for yourself from what you read from proposals, but if you really want to make an impact, you should always go to the vision bearer and seek what they really want to do and see if it aligns with your brand. So I invited her over, and then she explained to me the fact that these are women who want to tell their story to make an impact on young people and young women. And they're not just telling stories that are pleasurable. They are telling the hard truth, the ones that you would usually not read about, but you're hearing this directly from them. And I thought that was remarkable, because we live now in a world where everybody's perfect. Nobody ugly.
Everyone wants to show all the bad sides.
Not at all. Everybody wants to look all nice, all good. I mean, so beautiful and so pure. So that if you have women who are ready to open up, talk about their hard truths, experiences they've had that are not so pleasurable. Of course, there are things that they would hold back, but most of it that they share would make an impact on other young women and even young men, the youth in general. So I said, no, this is something that the bank should sponsor, because as a bank, we also look at the fact that we are giving back to the communities that we work with. We actually have a focus on women leadership. We have a focus, or we have specific desk for our women entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Yes, we have the women's desk at Bank of Africa. So, Memfit Foundation gives us that opportunity to be able to share in making the impact that we believe can change lives, the lives of women and the youth in general. Because stories heard from the people themselves, is the best thing you can get that can leave, a lasting impression on somebody. Growing up, there were things that we thought, oh, as for this one, I can't even talk to anybody about it. And it's even getting worse. So you have a group of women who are happy to share. It's a great thing. So that's how I found Memfit, and that's how I'm stuck to Memfit.
I, I was about to ask about, I hope you are sticking with Memphis. And you said
Absolutely.
it yourself, stuck to
Absolutely.
Memphis. Wow,
Absolutely.
that's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. And I like what you said about aligning with a vision bearer. Of course, that's what Dr. Anda did. And also partnering because you believed in what Memphis stands for
Right.
and continues to stand for the future. And I love that you've even shared why Bank of Africa sponsored this initiative as well because of you spoke about the women's desk,
Right.
you spoke about entrepreneurship, you spoke about the fact that these are real stories that
Right.
a lot of people may not want to share, or some will not even have the platform, but then Bank of Africa actually gave that platform
Absolutely.
for this to be possible. Thank you so much for this. I'm going to take you back a bit to your career journey. We'll come a little back to Memphis and then we'll move on a little bit. When you were talking about stories that women want to share, the parts that are not so good. Now, I know with marketing, the little I know with marketing and in corporate and in sales, there's a lot of rejection that goes on in that line of work. How have you been able to overcome instances like that? I mean, I can't imagine the number of projects, the number of letters, the number of
Right.
presentations,
Right.
visits, on-site
Visits.
visits
I'm
you're talking
telling you.
about today. I
Yes.
mean, I can't imagine the number of places that probably you've even lost count.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with rejection? I'm going to tie it in with the foundation a bit, but how do you deal with things like that? Especially since we are speaking to the youth, we're speaking to women, we're speaking to men, we're speaking to really all of Ghana
Right.
in this regard.
So first off, rejection is not an event, and it's not peculiar to an industry.
Okay.
It's part of our lives. Rejection is part of our lives, and I always tell young people that be ready for whatever comes, because you can't control people or situations. In my career journey, as a salesperson, even as a client management person, there are times where you've done everything you think you can do, but it's just not working. The customer is not satisfied. They are talking about their issue. Whatever you're proposing as a solution is not working. You have sent a proposal to a company or even an individual retail customer, and he's saying, why should I sign on to this your product? Why? Tell me why. You say this and they say that. So it's for me, it's something that is with us. Okay, now the strategy to mitigate or to deal with rejection is, first of all, be armed with knowledge. Once you are knowledgeable, you have absolute knowledge in what you're sending or what you're sharing or what you're selling. Okay, whatever you're dealing with, you should have apt information on it. That's the first thing. Then secondly, give your prospects a chance. Okay, they have the right to reject you. I mean, just accept it. And it's so funny that we just think that we are so good, nobody should deny us of what we are asking for. No, but that's that kind of entitlement sort of mentality. You are not the world. Like, you don't own the world. The person has the right to reject you. So give your prospects the opportunity to make the decision. If they don't agree, two things you can do. You must continue to pursue, determined. So the person has rejected you from the onset. I'll give you an example. When I was at Achaiman as an arrow, there was this account that I really wanted to open because this was a big SME business. I mean, brisk business, cash. Every time I go there, I see another bank come taking cash.
Wow. So was this before Bank of Ghana? Not to cut you.
Bank of Africa.
Bank of Africa. Sorry.
Yes, this was before Bank of Africa.
So that
This was
when
at
you were
Republic Bank
Great.
when I was an arrow. So they would come, and then I would go to this woman and say, "Oh, I'm from Republic Bank. This is this that." She say, "Oh, these days the banks are too many. We have too many banks and so on." So I kept going there, and at a point she told me, "Oh, it's my husband who manages my finances. So the day you come and see him, maybe you guys can talk." But every time I passed, I would say hello to her. I would go there, maybe buy a few things. I developed a relationship with her, friendship with her.
Like that.
It wasn't up to about 3 months when I started chasing the account, when the husband called me out of the blue one day. And my wife says, "You've been coming to the shop. How come I've not seen you before?" Then I said, "Oh, well, this is blah, 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 and this is why I've been coming. Can you come to the shop now?" I went to the shop. The man said, "Tell me about your bank. Tell me about the products." I did. He said, "Where's your account opening form?" I had it right there. Just then, the man filled the form and they opened an account. And it is one of the biggest accounts that we've had at the branch. You know, so that rejection, it didn't make me bitter. It didn't make me stop. But again, it didn't make me keep pressing the same button. Like you must develop strategies. As a salesperson or even as an individual, you must develop strategies for yourself, for your life. And being able to deal with rejection is one, because trust me, you will deal with rejections. They will come at you, whether it's in your personal life, in your career, even as we speak, you know, today, I'm dealing with rejection because it's not everything you send to ESCO that you want to do from marketing that ESCO will agree. For instance, I could have sent this Menfit Foundation proposal and my MD or ESCO would have said, "No, we are not going to sponsor because we don't have budgets, we don't have that." But you must move on. You must keep going because rejection would always come. Yeah, but you must keep going. You must remain professional. You must be self-inspired. You must drive yourself and deal with rejection. Sometimes where you get the rejection turns out to be the exact spot where you are going to make that big deal.
Wow. I like that. So with Menfit Foundation, what do you say? You really were the, what's the word to say? Without you, the partnership would never have happened.
No, I mean, from where I sit at marketing and corporate communication, I'm the I'm the gatekeeper. So I'm able to drive the reasons, the justifications for why the brand should associate with whatever program it is. So for Menfit, like I said, it sits perfectly in the general scope of things for the bank. You know, gender, women, impact, youth, it sits perfectly. So when you have such a paper and you understand and you are able to present it properly and it sits within a certain budget, okay, it's very easy. It's very easy to have it approved or you know supported. I may not have had the opportunity to give Menfit as much as I would have loved if it was my own money. If it was my own money, that's the golden word. If it was my own money, I would have given you more and more and more. You know that, right?
Yes.
But I think I told Menfit that we have subsequent programs that we'll be doing in the course of the year.
Fantastic.
Now that we have found each other, developed this relationship, we would look at doing more things that are impactful in the spaces that we want to do. Yeah.
Well, how long has it been since the Bank of Africa sponsored the initiative with Menfit?
This will be our very first sponsorship.
Oh, really?
This is our very first sponsorship.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm loving what we are learning so far. Thank you for what you've been sharing. Just to do a quick recap, I'll start again as usual from 1998 all the way. You shared your growth. You shared about how outstanding you were. You shared about how opportunity just came at you right from C-Cups, what you did at Republic Bank, how you worked through the processes while still preparing in the communication area. You've spoken about the big account you open as a typical example of how we can overcome rejection and actually turn it into a great stepping stone which impacts beyond us, which was in that case the Republic Bank. You've spoken about the initiative with Menfit Foundation and how you've started it off so well with them. Congratulations. I'm so inspired.
Thank you.
What I want to ask next is, what will you share to young people, young women, young men, the youth in general? What pieces of advice can you share? If you can share about 3. I wish we could do 5, but let's see how it goes because I'm really enjoying this time with you. But let's start with 3.
Let's start with 3.
Yeah.
So I'm sure even in our conversation so far, I would have let out quite a number.
Yeah.
But for me, the key thing is to be self-driven.
Okay.
self-motivation is key. Because why do I say this? If you cannot dream it, you can't have it. You know, a lot of our youth these days, sometimes you even ask them, what do you want to be in future? And the direction is not there. Oh, I'm not sure anything, you know. But in my time, or for me, when I was working with CCAPS Hotel, again, I was only like very young, in my teens, and I didn't have plans of travel, right?
Okay.
I didn't have plans of travel, but because we had a travel agency attached to the hotel, I just went ahead and made a passport for myself. Can you imagine, Ira? And I never used that passport. I just said to myself, but this travel agency, if it just turns out that one day they say, oh, they are giving us a treat, let's all travel to wherever, I will not have a passport.
And I'll be scrambling.
I'll be
figure out where
exactly.
to.
So let me just
and
make
that
a
was
passport.
way back then. So
That was
I can
way back
imagine
then.
things are smoother now with getting passports
I'm
these
telling
days.
you,
Yeah.
I had to go to one police commander and explain to him, and fill a
Like
form, attach my passport picture and all that. But that's what I'm talking about. That's that dream, that vision that you have at the end of it, that you can work towards. That is what is lacking these days, and that's what I would like the youth to imbibe. Okay, you need to inculcate that habit of reflection. These days the distractions are too many. We don't even get time to think about our own lives. So you need to reflect, dream, and work towards your dream. That's the first one. The second one is to associate with people who can encourage you. Your friends, the groups of people that you call friends, how are they like? What's their vision? Does it align with whatever you want to do? I don't have too many friends, but I have so many friends.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
I have
do.
so many
Absolutely,
friends.
yeah.
I used to tell people that if I wanted a number, when I was an RO, relationship officer, if I wanted anybody's number in Ghana, there's only one person I can call and I'll get the number. And they always ask me that, who is that person? I say, I'll not tell you. Because I keep relationships. I don't make them wither. I don't let people go. I reach out to people. I make my friends understand that I can be reliable. I'm the go-to person. I can sort you out. You see what I mean? When I can't even sort you out, I know somebody who can help you. And that makes you resourceful. People would like to be with you and also help you. We always talk about whom you know, but for me it is whom knows you, right? So if I know you and I just know you, for instance, today, Rabna, we've met today and we are having this conversation, and that's it. You don't reach out, I don't reach out. Maybe we'll meet at the mall one day and say, oh, Rabna, yeah, you remember when you... But I'm that sort of person that after meeting you today, tomorrow morning I'll text you and say, oh, it was really nice meeting you yesterday. And then in a month I'll say, hey, Rabna, so since then you will not call me again. You see, so you develop a relationship. You develop a relationship. And you are developing the relationship genuinely. Genuinely. The youth would want something out of relationship all the time. But some of the things that you get from relationship are not immediate. They are in the long term. They are not quantitative. Sometimes they are qualitative. Just being able to say that, oh, I know someone who works at XYZ company, might open doors for you, might make people come to you for assistance, and then you can also build relationship with other people. You see what I mean? So that's the second thing. Then you said 3, so the final thing. The final thing is, yes, keep praying. Pray for the things that you want. Communicate with God. Let him know what your problems are. He already knows. But speak it out. Say it. And it's a very steady way of dealing with issues. Dealing with rejection, like we have discussed. Dealing with not being there yet. Because once you have a dream, you have an aspiration, you're working towards it. You may not be where you are at a particular time. But your spirituality, your relationship with God, and I'm not saying religion here. I am not saying religion. I'm saying your relationship with God would definitely give you that springboard, that launch pad to always keep going renewed energy, renewed strength. Because there are times that I'll tell myself, Charlie, this thing dear, only God do. This thing dear, only God do. And truly, it's only God. It's only God. So I'm not saying religion. I'm Muslim. I'm married to a Christian man. But it's all about your relationship with God. That's the basic thing. So if you ask me to limit it to 3, those are the 3 that I would say.
So a relationship with God, the relationships, that's the friends around you, and of course the first you touched on being self-driven.
Yes.
Wow, fantastic. I also wanted to ask, looking at what our focus is, not just on we've spoken about the growth, there's wisdom, there's reflection. I mean, what would you say to your younger self if you had an opportunity to, look back, or let's say go back? We all can't go back sometimes. Right. Yeah, we may wish we want to undo certain things or even relive. But what would you say to your younger self if you had the opportunity to look back or get into a room and you see your mini Leila there, and you're like, your mini Leila is looking at the grand Leila now? What would you say, all in that reflection mode, what would you say to your younger self?
To my younger self, yes. Leila, young Leila. And they used to call me, in Hausa, Goshi, which means forehead.
Oh, really?
Because I had a big forehead.
I was about to get excited. I know some Hausa, so I'll use it. Thank you for giving me the meaning immediately.
Yeah, so my younger self, my younger Leila, growing up in Nima, across, up to a certain age, and then to Testano. Okay. Where my growth continues.
Hey, Tessano, that's where the old money is. Leila, no wonder you're into banking.
I know, right? Wow. What I'll just say is that keep your resilience.
Okay.
You are strong. The future is great for you, young Leila. You're going to go places. You're going to continue glowing. You have a charm that you can use positively. You have charisma that you shouldn't take advantage of. So go out there, grow, glow, and touch people's lives. Make a difference. Wow. That's what I'll tell my young self.
Fantastic. I love that. Glowing and growing.
Yeah.
The last few things, I don't know how many more minutes we've got left, but one more thing I'd like to find out, why should people support the MenFit Foundation? Why should other organizations, and like I say, we're excited and I'm happy the Bank of Africa, I've learned so much about your bank just from what you have shared, but why should other corporate institutions, why should anybody support the MenFit Foundation?
Because Bank of Africa is supporting.
I like that. That's why you're in the marketing and strategic and corporate.
Yes, because Bank of Africa is supporting, and if you want to put your brand out there as a brand that is really genuinely wanting to make an impact, MenFit Foundation is one of those products or one of those programs that you should support. Like I said, for Bank of Africa, this is the first time we are aligning. Okay. But even having this opportunity to reach out to as many as are listening to us or would listen to this podcast later on is amazing. It's going to give insights, send your brand across places where ideally you probably wouldn't have had the opportunity. Now, on the impact aspect, like I said, for Bank of Africa, women's growth, women inclusion, anything that has to do with women, the youth, is key to us. And that forms part of the global ESG and CSR scope. True. So if you're an institution and you are not being gender sensitive, or you are not looking out for the youth, the future of the youth, then it means that there's a gap somewhere. Yeah. And you can fill that gap by supporting MenFit Foundation. That's another one. Then finally, for Bank of Africa, we are on board again because apart from the program next week, we are also buying quite a number of books
Okay.
for the kids,
Okay.
the youth that will be reading those books.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can attend the program, but the books can go far and wide.
That's true.
And you have the opportunity to read and still make continuous impact. Imagine those books are read by 2 or 3 people. One sibling gives it to the next sibling and the next sibling. Can you imagine the amount of impact you'll be making without realizing? And so that your business is thriving because you are making impact, because you're reaching out and making the right decisions on what means so much to everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, this has been more than an interesting conversation. I wish it wouldn't end, but thank you so much, Miss
Right.
Leila Paintsil. Thank you for taking us through your life journey, your career journey. I'm not going to forget, at 19 years old, you are already playing such a big role with your first career. I'll say your first career footprint, if I
Right,
should
true.
say. I won't forget about how to deal with rejection. Just be knowledgeable. Have the knowledge so that that knowledge would really overcome that rejection.
Absolutely.
And then even if it doesn't, look at what you did. That relationship you build always comes through. Thank you for being a part of the Memphis Foundation through what you've done with connecting the Bank of Africa and supporting young women and really even adult women and men as well. In fact,
Right.
the whole nation and even beyond with this one step that you've taken. And we're excited to know that you're going to continue. We're going to see you next week, and the impact is going to go even beyond then. And finally, thank you for the advice you shared with us, the young ones, myself
pleasure.
included, on being self-driven, our relationship with God, and who we are surrounding ourselves with as well. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to meet you again.
It's my pleasure.
And I
can't
love
wait
what
to
you
meet
said. We are
again.
definitely speaking tomorrow.
Oh yes, we are
Building up our
We are
relationship.
One more additional friend to my portfolio.
Yes, exactly. One more additional friend. God bless you and thank you once again.
Thank you. God bless you
And
too.
it's good to have been here sharing amazing insights with this incredible woman who is also shattering glass ceilings and doing amazing work in her line of career. And this is where we say goodbye, and we'll definitely meet again for yet another session. Have a great afternoon. Bye.